CEO father finds homeless girl tutoring his daughter. His reaction melted hearts across America. The rain fell in soft silver sheets over the manicured lawns of the Sterling estate, turning the world into a watercolor blur. Charles Sterling, CEO of a Fortune 500 tech giant, stood at the French doors of his study, the weight of billion-dollar decisions momentarily lifted by the quiet rhythm of the storm. He'd come to check on his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, who'd insisted on reading time in the garden despite the weather, bundled under the sprawling canopy of the ancient oak tree, their favorite spot. What he saw next stopped him cold. Huddled beneath the thick, sheltering branches, sharing a single, slightly damp blanket, sat Lily, and beside her, leaning over a worn notebook with intense focus, was a girl Charles had never seen before. She couldn't have been more than 11, her clothes thin and worn, her dark skin glistening with rain, her eyes holding a startling mix of exhaustion and fierce intelligence. She was patiently pointing to words in Lily's book, her voice a low, steady murmur Charles could just barely hear over the rain. And the resilient seedling pushed through the cracked concrete, Lily. It means it didn't give up, even when things were hard. Charles's first instinct, honed by years of boardroom battles and security protocols, was suspicion. Who is this? How did she get past the gates? Is Lily safe? He took a sharp step forward, his voice cutting through the gentle patter. Lily, who is this? Both girls jumped. Lily's face lit up with pure, unguarded joy. Daddy, this is Maya. She's teaching me big words. She says I'm really good at sounding them out. Maya, however, flinched, as if struck. Her eyes, wide with sudden fear, darted from Charles's expensive raincoat to the imposing house behind him. She scrambled to her feet, clutching the tattered notebook to her chest like a shield, her voice trembling. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean any harm. Lily, she found me near the gate yesterday, looking for scraps. She asked if I knew how to read. I swear, I was just helping. She started to back away, ready to vanish into the rainy gloom, the picture of vulnerability Charles usually only saw in news reports from distant cities. But then he saw it. Not just the fear, but the fierce protectiveness in her eyes as she glanced at Lily. And he saw Lily's small hand shoot out, grabbing Maya's wrist with surprising strength. Don't go, Maya! Daddy, please! She's my friend! She knows everything! Charles froze. He looked past the worn clothes, past the obvious hardship etched into Maya's young face. He saw the careful way she held the book, the patient curve of her finger tracing the words, the genuine warmth in her smile when Lily got a word right, a warmth that had been missing from his own life since his wife's passing 2 years prior. He saw not an intruder, but a girl radiating a quiet dignity and intelligence that defied her circumstances. The hardened CEO felt something unfamiliar crack open in his chest. It wasn't pity, it was recognition. Recognition of resilience. Recognition of the sheer, desperate will to give something valuable. Knowledge, kindness, even when you have nothing. He took a slow breath, the rain soaking his hair. His voice, usually sharp and commanding, softened, becoming almost gentle. Maya, is it? She nodded, still wary. Lily says you're a wonderful teacher. He paused, meeting her wary eyes. Would you like to come inside, out of the rain? We have hot chocolate, and perhaps we could talk? The relief that washed over Maya's face was so profound it was almost painful to witness. Tears, indistinguishable from the rain, tracked down her cheeks. She glanced at Lily, who beamed and tugged her hand. Hesitantly, Maya nodded. Inside the warm, softly lit kitchen, wrapped in a thick robe far too big for her, Maya sipped hot chocolate with trembling hands. The story spilled out in halting sentences. Orphaned young, bounced through a failing foster system, aged out at 16 with nowhere to go. She'd been sleeping in a nearby abandoned bus shelter, surviving on scraps and sheer will. She loved books, devoured them at the library when she could, dreamed of being a teacher. She'd seen Lily struggling with her reading one day near the estate gates and, on a desperate impulse, offered help. Lily, lonely and missing her mother's gentle guidance, had latched onto her instantly. Charles listened, his CEO mind usually dissecting problems for solutions, now simply absorbing the raw humanity of her story. He saw the spark in her eyes when she talked about literature, the way her shoulders straightened when she spoke of her dream. He saw the daughter he loved so fiercely, who had found unexpected solace and learning in this unlikely friendship. Later that night, after Maya had been gently shown to a guest room, the first real bed she had slept in months, Charles sat alone in his study. The rain had stopped, leaving the world clean and glistening. He thought of his wife Sarah, who always said the truest measure of a man wasn't his bank account, but his capacity for kindness. He thought of Lily's radiant smile when Maya explained a new word. He thought of Maya's exhausted eyes holding on to hope like a lifeline. The next morning, Charles didn't call security. He called his most trusted lawyer. Then he walked into the sun-drenched kitchen where Lily and Maya were sharing pancakes. He knelt down, meeting Maya's eyes, his own suspiciously bright. "Maya," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "this estate, this home, it's too big for just Lily and me. And it seems," he glanced at his beaming daughter, "we both need someone who knows about resilient seedlings and big words. Would you consider staying? Permanently? We'd enroll you in school immediately. Whatever you need." Maya's breath hitched. The disbelief, then the dawning overwhelming hope in her eyes was a sight Charles knew he would carry forever. She looked at Lily, who threw her arms around her, then back at Charles. A single tear escaped, but this time it was followed by the radiant, relieved smile he'd ever seen. "Yes," she whispered, her voice gaining strength. "Yes, Mr. Sterling. Thank you." The story of the CEO, the homeless girl, and the oak tree tutor spread like wildfire. But for Charles, Lily, and Maya, it wasn't a viral moment. It was the quiet beginning of a new family. Maya thrived in school, her intelligence blossoming. Charles found a renewed purpose, not just in boardrooms, but in ensuring Maya had every opportunity. And Lily? She gained not just a brilliant tutor, but a sister who taught her the most important lesson of all, that compassion isn't weakness, it's the strongest foundation a home can be built on. Under that same old oak tree, now often shared by three, the resilient seedling had found its forever soil. If you believe in kindness, please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Storytales for more emotional stories. Your support helps us spread hope to millions. Thanks for watching.